Well, it's great to have with us once again Arianne Wing from the China Alley Preservation Society. And we've got the big Moon Festival coming up at the Carnegie Museum on Saturday, October 4th. Welcome to the show, Arianne.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Arianne, we know a lot. The Moon Festival is a huge tradition, but I thought it would kind of be nice to get a little update about China Alley and where the restoration efforts stand at this point.
Well, yes, it's been kind of a long lull. On May 12th of 2021, we had our arson fire where a woman set the Taoist Temple Museum on fire. And since that time, we have little by little been able to conserve some of the artifacts that survived. We took a lot of them to conservators in Los Angeles, where it's a very slow, painstaking service because you have to realize many of these items that when I saw them, I thought they were just gone. They were just pieces of burnt wood. And so the process of, I don't want to say Q-tips and small brushes, but it's kind of like that because you're dealing with pieces that are 125 or more years old. And but it's been an interesting process just to watch that because when they were able to do some of our scorched paper products, I was just amazed. And yes, things are going to look a little different because they're not, well, for example, just last week, Steve Bannister and I met with a master craftsman who has been restoring and conserving a lot of the couplets and plaques that were hanging in the temple on the second floor. And they're pretty scorched. Like he examined a few of them and said, this is just beyond repair. But the ones that he was able to repair that he was bringing back to us, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. But what I had to stop, what made me kind of catch my breath is that, but they don't look old anymore. They don't have that, the way since I was a child looking in that temple that they were already old plaques. Now they got a facelift and, like they have their nips and tuck and collagen injections and they just look a little bit different. But then I have to tell myself, but this is part of our history now, our story. We had a fire, we had arson damage, and this is what way things were able to be conserved, and this is what they look like now. And maybe in 100 years, they'll look a little bit different, but this is the way our story is today. We are also very fortunate that Dr. Sonia Ng out of San Francisco area, she's been working with this since the 1980s. She was the curator for the Hong Kong Museum of History and their new exhibition, which they did a whole gallery. They had been planning this way before the arson. They had a whole gallery set aside in their new building set just for Hanford's China Alley and our history. And so they took over 100, maybe 120 objects that were damaged, and they've, with their system of putting things back together, they did it. And in fact, our altar was amazing, the restoration, because it was charred. If you go to our website, chinaalley.com, and see the before and after pictures, especially when I say before, I mean before the arson and then the arson, the amount of damage that was done was amazing. And then we'll be posting pictures of the Hong Kong exhibit and what they have been able to restore. It's just breathtaking and amazing, and I'm going to have to stop talking because I can't even describe it. It is so
fantastic news.
It was, this exhibit will be up in Hong Kong until the end of 2026, and I hope a lot of people will be able to see it because it shows to me that all was not lost.
Yeah,
all was not lost
for sure. So we know the restoration efforts, tireless. People have worked for 5 years since the arson fire. And do you have maybe a timeline as to when we might see China Alley activated again?
Well, it can't be soon enough for me. I know that when the Hong Kong exhibit is over, things should start coming home, and hopefully, by that time, our building is structurally stable. The Temple Museum is structurally stable. It's just repainting, repairing, all of those kind of things. But I'll tell you what the real holdup is. In fact, Steve and I were just talking about this last night. The real holdup, quite frankly, is money. If Oprah would call me, this thing could be done much quicker than it is now. Doing this kind of conservation, it's tedious, by the hour, and very expensive. For instance, some of you will remember the lanterns that we had hanging on the second floor of the museum, and they were beautiful. They were glass with beads and all this work, and they are being restored, but it costs over $10,000 a lantern, and we had 8 of them, I believe. So there's it's like I said, if it just takes time and money, and money being probably kind of a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I know you've applied for lots of grants, and you can go to the website at chinaalley.com and learn about the history of China Alley. And there's also donation links and volunteer links on how you can become a member of the China Alley Preservation Society. And one of the locations that you can do that is at the upcoming Moon Festival. And I know the Moon Festival is very special to you, and the Carnegie Museum is just so happy to be able to help put this event on in conjunction with your group. And tell us a little bit about the history of the Moon Festival and what we're looking forward to on October 4th.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the Carnegie for being teammates with us on the Moon Festival. It really, that was amazing last year, what we did. And, well, the Moon Festival, it's funny because I always think of the Cal Poly Lion dancers and I were about the same age when we started the Moon Festival. Now they could be my grandkids, I think. So I think we've been doing the Moon Festival in China Alley for, I want to say, 41 years. Boy, that was courageous of me to date myself. But and then we had the COVID arson lull, and then I was really happy when you came and said, "Let's do a Moon Festival together." But it's just really an amazing day, even though we're in the Carnegie. But there's so much history with the Carnegie that I feel that. And we're not very far from China Alley at the Carnegie Museum location. So I feel that visitors, they can spend the day and have fun in the Carnegie Garden with doing Moon Festival things and watching the Gumyo Taiko and the Cal Poly Lion Dance team. And then if they want, they can drive down to China Alley, where it all started a billion years ago. But it's the Moon Festival is on October 4th from noon until 5 p.m. with the performances at 2 and 4. And there'll be, I know the Carnegie's got some food trucks lined up. There's going to be the Salad Bowl Kids group has their booth. I think they do henna painting. We've got, I call him Origami Ray. He'll be there. We have quite a few other booths. And so I think it'll be a really great afternoon.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to all of the booths. Last year was such a fantastic time. The weather was a little warm, but it looks like this year's weather is going to be just perfect. So again, the tribute to the China Alley Moon Festival will be held on Saturday, October 4th from noon until 5 p.m. And the Carnegie Museum will host the event at 109 East 8th Street in downtown Hanford, along with the Renaissance Fair that weekend. So we're really looking forward to a great afternoon and continuing this long tradition of the Moon Festival.
Thank you very much, Rob, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone there.